The last question I have is actually about the last Board of Finance meeting. Do you know when that was?
April 5th, I believe.
Okay, so April 5th again. Mr. Doheny, I'm concerned that we seem to have made tremendous strides last meeting.
Can we clarify with the last subcommittee meeting or the last?
No, the last Board of Finance meeting.
Oh, that would have been Thursday, April 5th, I believe.
Okay, and that was the meeting that the subcommittee was formed out of.
I have in my calendar the meeting was the 18th, but it was our regularly scheduled April meeting.
Okay, and that's when the subcommittee meeting was formed. Okay. Last time we met, we seem to be making such great strides in coming to a consensus that we needed a forensic audit. But this time, Mr. Doheny, I detect that you seem to have taken a step backward, if you don't mind my saying so, in that you seem to come out in a very forward way saying that you three were actually not charged with finding a forensic audit. Given the date of the last Board of Finance meeting where the subcommittee was formed, Mr. Helena already pointed out that the arrests were just unfolding and access to the arrest warrant affidavits were not even available, and in fact Mr. Doheny and Mr. Frieda hadn't even read them 2 weeks ago. You know, they're just calling out for a different kind of a need. And I think that if the Board of Finance meeting had been a week later, there probably would have been some greater demands for a forensic audit. And I did note somewhere that Mr. Peterson, you know, vehemently asserted that he was not against a forensic audit. So it surprised me to hear you come out at the beginning saying that you were not charged with finding a forensic audit and that seemed to be beyond your scope. And to me that seems like we've just taken so many steps backwards from last time.
Mike brought up last time, and I forget the exact words, but he said something like, okay, we would consider. Don't quote me, but it was something along those lines. And don't forget, what I've constructed here is a format to both choose a new auditor, but also choose one with forensic capabilities. That's what the RFP says. It specifically calls for someone with forensic capabilities.
But I thought you said that the Board of Finance did not allow you to look for a forensic auditor.
I absolutely said that that was not my understanding of the charge. That's right.
Okay. So, but in your opinion, it's okay to have one firm that also happens to do forensic audits?
Yes, I don't see why.
So why is that not rubbing against what the board has asked you to do? I'm confused.
I didn't say, this RFP doesn't say we're going to do a forensic audit. There's a whole list of qualifications that firms, need to meet in order to be considered for the RFP for the town of Haven. You have to be licensed, you have to be this or that, you got to sign a conflict of interest. I mean, there's a whole, it seems 40 pages.
And that came from the Board of Finance? The RFP?
No, it came from the town of Manchester.
Okay, but you said the Board of Finance said that they did not give you sort of the scope of forensic audit. I think you said that at the beginning of this meeting, which seemed to be going backwards from where we were last time.
I said, it was my understanding of the charge from the Board of Finance that we are asked to form an RFP, issue the RFP, and make a recommendation to the Board of Finance as to a new auditing firm for the town. The Board of Finance didn't say anything to us about go out and issue an RFP or qualify a firm to provide forensic auditing services. So what I did was, I inserted into the RFP that's in draft form right now, a requirement that any auditing firm that we so choose has to have forensic capabilities. So that if and when, as I think we've all frankly stated, the firm is selected, that's one firm or two, I guess we can continue to talk about, that we can use them to do the forensic investigative services that they recommend and that we may direct.
I have a related question.
Mr. Wesher, do you have a question?
Yeah, it's following up on this, so if you don't
Sure.
mind, Doug. You were talking about the one firm, two for everything, and the idea that you have this company that wants the contract. One of the problems when you have a company, in this case an auditor that wants a contract and wants to develop a good, healthy relationship with the town, is that firm is not the best firm to go in and try to find all the terrible things that the people they're working with have been doing over the years. The problem is that it's a very different relationship. An auditor works with the people in the Department of Finance, around the different departments, and they try to work with them to develop the right controls, the right systems. A forensic auditor is going in and looking to see what's going on. That's a different relationship. Those two people should not be working together. The SEC chair has come out saying that should not happen with corporations, and there's no reason why that should happen with municipalities either. This is, there's the whole SOX, the Sarbanes-Oxley, that has set up standards that municipalities are following that is not considered to be a good thing. You don't keep auditors for too long. He's right, you don't have an auditor for 1 year. I mean, unless there's some real serious problem, because nobody wants. My dad's a CPA. He wouldn't go into a place for 1 year. That's definitely true, but you also don't want somebody too long because you develop too close a relationship. So the whole idea is to balance relationships, and when you balance relationships, a forensic auditor has a different relationship than an annual auditor, and they should not be from the same firm because that sets up, this is what I do, municipal ethics, conflicts of interest, and it just doesn't go that way. That's not the way to do it.
Mr. Watkins, I don't totally disagree with what you just said, but in the first year of bringing a new auditing firm in, it would seem to me that if we're bringing someone else in the first year, that they would have almost every reason to try to find fraudulent activity if the same firm was conducting both. See, I would agree with your point of view. If we retain the old firm to come in and do a forensic audit, that would be ludicrous to consider that. But in the first year, this is our first year, we're bringing someone else in new now. I'm not quite sure I follow why a new auditing
Because the
firm.
people who work for them, I mean, clearly the IRDs won't be here anymore, but all these other people are going to still be here, and they're the people they want to work with. Mr. Swinkowski is still going to be here. There's one thing about getting along with people, there's another thing about investigating people, and they're two different things. Nobody wants to be investigated. So that's going to create a lot of tension. The forensic auditor is going to come in and create tension. An annual auditor doesn't want to create tension. They want to do a good job. They want to get all the numbers together. They want everything to add up, but that's not a tense relationship unless there's something going on.
So you're saying even in the first year, bringing a new firm in?
Yeah, anytime. At any time, they shouldn't be the same. That is why the SEC recommends you don't do it. That is why all these SOX rules have been set up. That's just one of the kinds of things that has been done. And just to go from there, one of the things, there's two things about the fact that we don't have this public comments during the meeting. One is because, unfortunately, it's not showing respect. We are treated just the same. We talk, we get it. But all those people at home don't get that. And I think they should have been shown the respect of being able to hear what we have to say. And the other part of that is, there's expertise out here. I am a municipal ethics person. I can talk about conflicts. You didn't know about all that stuff. You hadn't talked about it. They're not going to hear it unless they go to my website. And I think that's wrong. I think we have experts out here, and I think we should be able to have input where it's useful, and that people should be able to hear it. You can, of course, it's most important that you hear it. But this is, when I talk about respect, as I have been recently, and other kinds of things, it's just, unless there's a very clear reason not to, people should be included. And saying that public meetings don't include public comments, that's nowhere. That doesn't exist. They're all over America. There are meetings in North Haven. There are meetings, public meetings. And to say something like that, and on the basis of I don't know, to exclude people, that is you're saying to the town, we don't want to include you. And this is a time we need to include everybody. We need everybody on board because we're in a crisis. And this is the wrong time to say things like that.